it's your lucky day today. You've woken up on the right side of the bed in the morning, you're wearing your lucky shirt, and you've been seeing a lot of positive signs since morning. And then an email pops up in your mailbox. A certain widow in a far off land would like to donate all her inheritance to you because she is dying of a terrible disease. To know if it is actually your lucky day today, watch this video all the way till the end. Hi there, Namaste. My name is Harshvardhan Dawar. Welcome to our series on money frauds, wherein we discuss the various ways and schemes in which people can fraud you of your money. The simplest way to identify a fraud is that it violates the basic principle of low risk, low return, high risk, high return. Any scheme that offers you a variable in which there is very little risk as promised by the scheme and a very high promised return, that should be the first pointer for you, or the only pointer for you, the fact that it is a fraudulent scheme. In this series, we'll be discussing many such schemes. Today, we will be talking about a certain widow in a far off land who wants to donate her entire inheritance to you because she thinks you can do a lot of good with the money, and unfortunately for her, there is nobody close by to take forward her mission. So how does this thing start? It starts off with an email that you receive in your mailbox wherein she reaches out to you asking you whether you are ready to take the responsibility of managing and taking care of such a large amount of money. I receive an email from a Mrs. Ella Herbert from Dallas, Texas, USA, saying that she is hospitalized as a result of brain cancer. She's sitting with a huge amount of money, to be precise 7.8 million euros, which she wants to give away so that I can invest the fund, and whatever profit I make from the fund, I use it to do charity, and that seems to be her last wish. Now I wonder, why is she offering me euros given that she's in the US, and how is it that she's sitting with such a huge amount of money and there is not a single relative close by waiting to stake a claim on the money? And to make it look real, she sends me a photo of herself in the hospital with the ventilators and the fancy medical gadgets around her, and she's apparently on drips. She also sends me her passport copy to put across that she is a genuine person. I mean, she's not an alien sitting with so much money without any relatives around her. She is actually a human. Okay. I write to her asking how could I be of assistance, and that's when she details out saying that the money is lying in a private bank in Paris in France. So that explains why she's offering me euros and not USD. And all she wants is, she wants me to invest the money, and whatever profits she makes from the money, she would like me to use it for charity. She's not specified what charity, any charity of my wish. She asked me to send across the international passport so that she could introduce me to her bankers. That's how the process will go ahead. So I oblige again. I sent her my international passport, supposed passport, and ask her what needs to be done next. And that's when she writes me an email giving me the contact details of her bankers, a certain Mr. Delbert Pierce, along with an email ID of the bank and a telephone number, and tells me to contact the banker, saying that I have been instructed by Mrs. Ella Herbert to contact the bank to stake a claim on the 7.8 million euros. Obviously, I cannot stake a claim based on an email. So she's kind enough to actually send me a letter of authorization signed by her, instructing her banker to hand over all the money to me. Along with the letter of authorization, she also sends me a deposit slip, which is basically a proof of the fact that way back in 2015, she had deposited 7.8 million euros in the bank, to kind of convince me that the letter of authorization is true, and so is the deposit slip, which is a proof of the fact that so much money is actually lying in her bank account. So you see, as the story, or rather the scheme, builds up, she has sent me her passport, she sent me a deposit slip which contains the fact that she's deposited $7.8 million. And I wonder, who deposits so much amount of cash, who is moving around with so much cash? And she has also given me a letter of authorization wherein I can go to the bank and stake a claim on the $7.8 million. When I received the email ID of the banker, the first thing I did is I actually took the email ID and went to the website of the bank. The email she sent me was supposedly from the BNP Paribas bank, right? But if you look closely at the email ID, it says bnparisgroup.com. It is a pun or a play on the original bank name, which is BNP Paribas. So it seems like the email ID is from the BNP Paribas bank. And when you go to the website, you will find that the scammers, the fraudsters have done the efforts of creating a bank website for the BN Paris group in this case instead of the BNP Paribas bank. And they ask you to mention your user ID and password to log into the bank account, right? So yes, they have put in efforts to make it look interesting. And so what do I do next? In anticipation of getting the $7.8 million, she's given me all the authorizations I need. All I need to do is write to the banker and hope for the banker to approve the transfer to my bank account. So that's what I do. I write to the banker saying him that I have been asked by Mrs. Ella Herbert to introduce myself along with the letter of authorization and the deposit slip that I am a trustee and I am talking to the banker on behalf of Mrs. Ella Herbert and asking the bankers that please transfer the money to my bank account based on the letter of authorization. As expected, I hear from the banker. He actually sends me a remittance advice, okay, which mentions that we acknowledge the receipt of it's a very typical letter. You can see how it uses the same colors as that of the original BNP Paribas bank. The logo is similar, right? And it says that you have been nominated as a trustee to enable us as a part of our process which any bank has. We request you to send us a certain set of documents and certain details, and once it is received they will process the transfer. Yeah, it looks pretty good, right? So I go ahead and share all the details with them. I try to act a little smart by sending them all the details except my passport copy, just to see how diligent they are as a banker. To my surprise, this is a very well run scheme by the set of fraudsters, because he comes back to me saying that I have received all your documents, but please send your international passport also as a proper ID proof. So you see, they have done their homework. If I haven't done mine, I would have actually fallen for this scheme. But yes, I continue to play along. I send them my international passport. Within a day's time, I hear from them, and this time, what the banker sends me is a statement of account of Mrs. Ella Herbert. You can see the statement. It supposedly contains 7.8 million euros. A little change, it needs to look real. So it has actually 7.8 million euros plus 5,150 extra to appear like a real bank statement of a real person. And along with that, they also send me a remittance advice wherein they say that we've received and we are happy to carry forward the transfer. Here is where the catch comes in. They say that to ensure that the money is transferred to you, we need a judicial approval. Why? Because they want to ensure that the money is not illegal and it is legitimate money which is being transferred, and that is required by the Ministry of Justice in France. And that is when the banker connects me to their lawyer, so that the lawyer will get the permission for me from the government of France, and that is when I can take it forward. Still hoping that I will get to see the money someday at least, I write to the lawyer saying that please find attached the remittance advice along with the statement of account. I have been asked by the banker to get in touch with you and please advise what do I need to do next. And when I received the reply from the lawyer, and he says that he's been working with BNP Paribas and with the Ministry of Justice. He has over 25 years of experience. He wants to ensure that the money takes care of the anti-money laundering laws prevalent in France, right? This is where he quotes me a fee, telling that the judicial approval process will take a fee of 3,100 euros along with a certain stamp duty and a TVA taxes. You see, they need to make it look real, right? That is why they've added taxes. And he gives me a total cost of 3,978 euros and says that the moment I transfer this money, he will get the approval and then the money will be transferred to my bank account. So 3,900 euros is a small amount I need to pay so that the process can be done to transfer 7.8 million euros to my bank account. You see, a very small payoff for such a large amount. Being the naive person that I am, I write to him saying that you are sitting in Paris, I'm sitting in India. How do I transfer the money to you? Because it's going to be difficult for me to do an international transfer. I've never done one before. And guess what? The lawyer replies saying that we have an affiliate in India, a legal affiliate, whom you can transfer the money. And once we receive the funds, I will initiate the process from my account. Please transfer the money to my Indian affiliate bank account in INR. You see, 3900 euros is a very small payoff in expectation of 7.8 million euros. But I'm sure by now you would have realized that this is entirely a scam. The moment you transfer the money from your bank account, you're going to stop receiving any communication. The money is gone and there is no way you can retrieve the money. You are never going to see your 7.8 million euros, and neither are you ever going to get the processing fee which you paid in anticipation of receipt the money back. What they've done is designed and drafted an elaborate scheme, and at every step they try to hook you in. But at the same time, at every step they leave trails of the fact that it is a fraud, it is a non-existent bank, it is a non-existent fund, which for you it should be very easy to identify if you just use your common sense. And at the same time stick to our original principle that low risk, low returns, high risk, high returns. Any scheme that violates this principle is, for all you know, a fraud. And you may realize that it is a fraud today, you may realize it a month later, 3 months later, or even 3 years later. It may take you quite some time to realize it's a fraud, depending on the kind of fraud or scheme that you're falling prey to. So what we'll do is, in our future videos, talk about more such schemes and make you aware so that you do not lose your hard-earned money. If you have seen such schemes or have received such emails or actually fallen prey to any such frauds, do write in the comments below, or write to us at iplan@wealthcafe.in. Or if you want to know if a particular scheme is a fraud or no, do write to us and we will definitely reply to you. Before you start searching your inbox for such emails, do like, share and subscribe to our channel for freshly brewed content from Wealth Cafe every Wednesday and Saturday. Till then, save hard and invest smart.